Oh, my name is Aryan Kalluvila, and I am a clerk here at the corner store. And I heard that you would like to learn more about safety and health. This is an excellent question. Firstly, let me thank you for meeting with me today via Zoom. I would love to meet you face to face, however, due to the unfortunate circumstances, we have to meet like this. But I hope this will not impede my ability to give this presentation. So let's get into it. Let me first start out to you by explaining the nature of operations and how this factors in the safety. Essentially, the nature of operations is the day to day activities that develop a strong and successful business, both money wise and customer wise. This encompasses safety. To operate a successful business, safety is critical. For example, let's say you want to go to Six Flags. However, when you attend, you find out that none of the rides have harnesses. Would you want to attend that theme park? No, of course not. This similarly applies to this corner store. We need to make sure we have the nature of operations intact through our excellent safety regulation metrics. Okay, so how are you to even maintain a safe work environment? What does safety mean? With regards to this store, there's a couple of things you need to make sure of. Firstly, it is your job to refill the coffee pots and ice machines, and both of these items involve the customer's health directly since these fluids are going into their body directly. Contact is there. Even before you start filling these machines in the morning, you need to make sure that they are disinfected and clean. To remove any aversive bacteria, you need to utilize a 1/2 water and then 1/2 vinegar solution. This will kill all the germs located within the canister and reduce the customer's chance of illness. The second thing you need to make sure you do when you are filling these up is you need to make sure that none of your body touches these fluids. Otherwise, this will negatively impact the customer since the machines will be contaminated. The way I recommend that you approach this or you maintain this safety metric is by wearing gloves when coming into contact with both machines. Also, you need to keep in mind your own safety as well. The reason why I recommend gloves is that you're not only keeping others safe with a lack of contamination, but you're also keeping yourself safe by avoiding burns from the coffee. Both of these guidelines I just regarded to you involve health and safety regulations. Health because the customer's health is going to be affected through the coffee, and second, safety because in order to maintain this health, we need to establish the metrics that I previously mentioned. Additionally, you are in charge of cleaning up. As the saying goes, health is wealth. After the store closes each day, it is your job to mop the floors. It should not take too long. It would maybe take 15 to 20 minutes, but make sure you're adequately cleaning it. If the floors and the environment that the customers shop in are not clean, this will increase the transmission of diseases and cause negative reviews to our store. So now we have now let's get into really the your job at the cash register. And this is quite important. So, and how safety will, but more importantly, security applies here. So essentially, you need to make sure that when you're at the cash register, you keep a close eye on the money safeguarded here. Specifically, make sure the register is locked after each transaction, unless there are people in line, which I understand. You need to utilize the register very often when there are a bunch of people in line. And another side note is make sure the transactions are 100% accurate. This will build your customer relationships. But whenever you're away from the cash register, make sure it is locked. Otherwise, theft is very likely. I've had this happen to me once, and it was not good. You need to keep an eye on it. You need to be very very particular regarding these matters. Also, sometimes you will be the only one working the shift. So you need to make sure you keep an eye out on the store overall. If someone tries to steal anything, immediately contact the authorities and attempt to record the features of the person trying to steal, even though we have extenuating safety or security measures in place. However, this is not an excuse to not be vigilant. So I've devised some tips for you to increase the overall safety and security. Number one, make sure the gas station is well lit. You do not want any parts of the station nor convenience store to be dim in order to promote theft or robbery. This may seem like a silly piece of advice, but it is critical. Well lighting will make it easier to spot shoplifting and will give you a general sense of what's going on in the store. Secondly, keep your windows that you are using in the gas station clean. If there is anything malicious happening outside, you will be able to immediately spot it, and you'll be able to spring into action and contact the authorities because you'll be able to see that very, very quickly. And then the third thing, this is arguably the most important, make sure you have the emergency button that I provided to you within reach last visit. A robbery can happen very quickly, so it is critical to have that quick reaction time in order to mitigate the problem at hand, the emergency at hand. So everything I just described to you involves health and safety regulations and also factors into the nature of operations. If you follow my guidelines, the nature of operations will lead us to a successful business and will promote revenue, since more customers will want to come to this store, obviously. So let me answer some of your questions. What should you do if there's an emergency? Well, that is a really good question. However, it really depends on what type of emergency. In all emergencies, the first thing I recommend you do, unless there's a person having a medical issue, is to press the emergency button I have with you. This will contact the local police department to come to your area as soon as possible. If it's a medical issue and the customer is having a heart attack, however, the first thing I recommend you do is to treat that person and have someone else call 911 instead. Another scenario would be a gas leak or a very serious gas leak or issue like that. In this case, evacuate all the customers from the area immediately and alert them via loudspeakers so they can move out of the area effectively and efficiently. Your second question, why is it important that you are trained on various machinery? That's a very good point. So let me illustrate this to you by going back to the Six Flags scenario. Let's say that you are the operator of one of these roller coasters. However, you do not really know how to control the speed of the coaster. How comfortable do you think the rider would feel in that case? Not really good, right? Not only are you compromising on their safety, but you're also compromising on your own. To get back to the gas station, you need to make sure that you are conversant with the various machinery in order to maintain a safe work environment. For example, getting to in this scenario, let's say a customer asks you how to use a bread slicing machine we have at the back of the store, and you do not know how to use it. You may cut off your fingers in doing so, and this will result in not only lack of safety guidelines and health measures instilled by us, but also it will leave the customer dissatisfied, resulting in them to most likely never come back to our store again. And then your last question, arguably the most important: how do safety and security measures minimize loss? So, security and safety measures both minimize loss because you're essentially removing that chances of danger or inconvenience. That's the definition of that. For example, if you correctly know how to operate the heated merchandisers and you wear gloves prior to operating them, you will avoid burns. If you avoid burns, you will be able to work more efficiently and more quickly. If you are able to work more efficiently and more quickly, there will be greater revenue. See, it all ties together into this sort of hierarchy. Additionally, for security measures, we have a similar pipeline. So keeping a general eye out for the people while filling gas to avoid any, or even in the store in general, to avoid any suspicious behavior will reduce loss, since obviously less people will get away with stealing. So on the security side of that question. So those are all the points I have for you today, and thank you for meeting with me via Zoom. I would love to again meet you face to face, but however, we can't do the unfortunate circumstances, and I hope you've learned a lot about safety and maintaining health regulations in business and in our store. Thank you.